Bollywood star Saif Ali Khan was assaulted in his Bandra residence late last night. The attacker stabbed him as many as 6 times. One of the attacks was very close to his spine. Doctors at the Leelavati hospital where he was admitted had operated upon him. He's said to be stable right now, but in the ICU. But his condition was so bad that one portion of the knife, the attack weapon that the assailant used, was stuck inside Saif's body, and that's what the doctors had to operate upon. The police say it's one lone assailant. They've managed to capture this brief 5-second video of him walking down the fire exit, walking down the stairs from the floor where Saif stays, which is the 12th floor in his apartment complex. The cops right now are saying the motive was burglary and nothing more. Like I said, they've released this very brief 5-6 second video of the assailant walking down the steps after the stabbing incident, trying to make his escape. Now, the question is, and really there are many, many unanswered questions. How did this attacker, and if it's a lone wolf, then all the more so, how did he gain entry and exit into and out of the building, and also into and out of Saif's house? If there were no signs of forced entry, as the police say, then did someone from the inside let the assailant in? And most importantly, after this entire scuffle where he stabbed one of India's leading film stars 6 times, how did this man manage to escape despite creating such a huge scuffle inside such a protected house and apartment complex? Many, many unanswered questions. We'll try and answer a few of those, throw some light on a few of those questions through the course of this program. But first, what a dramatic Thursday it's been in the Saif Ali Khan, Kareena Kapoor household.
अभी तक के इन्वेस्टिगेशन में ये एक चोरी का अटेम्प्ट था, ऐसा हमारे इन्वेस्टिगेशन में निष्पन्न हुआ है।
At 2 a.m., he sustained major injury to the thoracic spinal cord due to lodged knife in the spine.
सर्वात सुरक्षित मुंबई आहे, पण केवळ त्या घटनांमुळे मुंबई असुरक्षित आहे असं म्हणणं हे याकरता योग्य होणार नाही की याने मुंबईची प्रतिमा देखील खराब होते.
So is there more to it than meets the eye? Here's the exact sequence of events. This is what happened in the middle of the night at Saif Ali Khan's residence. At 2 a.m., Saif Ali Khan was at home with his 2 sons, Taimur and Jay. His wife, Kareena Kapoor, was not at home at that particular time. She was out with friends. The house help, one of them, and I believe there are 7 of them at any given point of time on the floor where the Khans live, one of them discovers an unknown person, confronts that intruder. Saif then wakes up because there's a commotion that's happening between the caretaker and this intruder. Because of the noise, he wakes up and then he tries to intervene to break up this ongoing scuffle. So between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., Saif Ali Khan then is attacked with a sharp weapon by this intruder. It's a lone intruder. Whether or not he had accomplices, so far the cops are saying it's a lone wolf attack. This was right outside one of the rooms of one of his children. And the police are also saying that so far the only motive that seems to be the only one that they are looking at is a burglary attempt. Saif Ali Khan is stabbed not once, not twice, but 6 times, including 2 very deep wounds, one of which is very close to his spine, and that is a very risky operation that the doctors at the Leelavati hospital had to perform. He was rushed there to the Leelavati hospital at about 3:30 in the morning. Saif Ali Khan is brought to the Leelavati hospital. A piece almost 2.5 inches long of the assault weapon is lodged inside his body, close to his spine, and that's what the doctors had to operate him for and retrieved that part from out of his body. Now, the Mumbai police are investigating this case. The forensic teams have been present at the residence since the morning when this initially came to light. The initial probe has thrown up some leads. Now, the lead one is that the attacker had access to Saif's residence all night. In fact, he was already inside the house even before they had called it a night. The second lead is that the attacker and one of the house helps, there seems to be a link, because the cops are saying there is no visible sign of forced entry, which means somebody from the inside opened the house to the attacker. The third lead is that the attacker entered the building through the back gate and then escaped via the fire exit. Now, the lift and the lobby areas are usually well guarded. You need biometrics to enter and exit and so on. But the fire escape and the back gate, where security seems to have been lax, that's what the attacker seems to have used to gain entry and exit out of the building. The prime focus of the investigation right now, and the only motive they seem to be probing right now, is the angle of theft or burglary. There's also the fact that the police are saying that they have identified the suspect. They've released that CCTV footage. They have seen his face, his features. They even know who he is. There are as many as 15 police teams that are on the lookout for this man, this attacker, and they believe that he's very much in Mumbai after what happened in the early morning hours today. There was also some floor polishing work that was happening in the building on the same floor as well as in other floors, some of whom have been detained for quizzing. Now, this high-profile attack, it has raised many questions. In fact, more questions than possibly answers. Number one, this is a highly guarded, highly protected building. You need biometrics to access entry and exit from this building. How did the assailant gain access both to the building and to the residence? If there was no forced entry, did any of Saif Ali Khan's household helps help the intruder? How did the assailant enter and escape without any scrutiny, either at the building lobby or at the gates? If the building had biometric security systems at the lobby, at the lifts, then how did the intruder manage to escape all of these security systems? Was the assailant hiding hours before the assault began? Because early morning we got this word from the police that up to 2 hours prior to 2 a.m., when this assault happened between 2 and 3 a.m., up to 2 hours before that, that is from midnight on, they looked at the CCTV footage and they found no traces of this man. The only CCTV footage that they have found so far and released is what you're seeing on your screen right now, which is exactly at 2:33 a.m., roughly a few minutes after this incident happened at around 2:30 in the morning. So let's try and find answers to some of those questions. I want to go across to Mr. P.K. Jain. He's former additional DGP of Maharashtra. Thank you very much, Mr. Jain, for speaking with us. I think the most basic and most perplexing question that everybody wants an answer to is, how did this attacker gain entry and exit both into the building and into Saif's house without anybody noticing?
Zaka, thank you very much for inviting me here. See, this is a major security lapse in the building itself. Apparently, there was a security setup. This is a very, hi-fi kind of a building. To my mind, it appears that the person was very well versed with the security scenario in the building. Mm-hmm. The reason that he could gain an easy access and move around in the building was that probably he was a known face. That's why probably what I learned was that he has used the stairs.
Yeah.
And he has gained access to the flat. The possibility of somebody from the security setup or somebody from the household of Saif Ali Khan having been involved in this matter cannot be ruled out.
But tell me this, and that's where the second most intriguing thing comes through, which is the police are saying definitively there are no signs of any forcible entry into the flat, which means only one thing, that somebody from inside the flat opened the door for the attacker. Is that the only plausible explanation?
That could be a possibility. See, there are two ways of looking at it. See, if he has already located a weakness in the house, suppose a window remains open, which is easily accessible from outside, or some other loose entry point, that could be one possibility. And the second possibility would be that somebody from the household of the domestic help of Mr. Saif Ali Khan would have been certainly involved in this matter. I think the police has already identified one of the accused.
Yes.
One thing I can tell you, Zaka, in such cases is that there are 4 or 5 known criminals who indulge into high-rise building thefts, who specialize into high-rise building thefts. But they generally use the pipeline, they use the drainage pipeline, they use the balconies to gain access to the flat. But in this case, what I learned is that he has used the stairs. He has gone through the building, into the building and through the staircase, etc. So apparently there has been a major security lapse somewhere.
No, we can see that image. It's a 4-5 second CCTV footage that the police have released. We're just playing that as you speak. It shows the attacker, young man, maybe in his 20s, very leanly built. Again, the question that many are asking is, how can he cause such serious injuries? It's not 1 or 2 stabs. It's 6 stabs. The last one was so bad that it left a piece of the weapon inside Saif's body, which is what the doctors at Leelavati had to operate him for. How can such a lean, skinny man attack someone like a Saif Ali Khan who's very muscularly built?
See, such criminals in some cases, not in all the cases, in some cases they do carry a weapon with them so that in case they are cornered, they can attack the homeowner or somebody from the household, whoever tries to catch them. Now, his being skinny does not really matter, because if he has a sharp knife with him, and if somebody tries to catch him, he can easily inflict 3, 4, 5, 6, in this case, the 6 wounds that he has inflicted. And the kind of knife that he was carrying does not appear to be a very professional kind of a knife, because the blade broke into the body of Saif Ali Khan, means that it was only a stopgap arrangement that he picked up, that in case he is caught or in case he is apprehended or somebody tries to apprehend him, he would attack the person who tries to apprehend him. That's what has happened in this case. I mean, I will not rule out the possibility of a guy being skinny, weak, and yet inflicting a few wounds on Saif Ali Khan out of sheer desperation.
I also want to ask you, Mr. Jain, very quickly,
life,
because we have to wrap up after this. This is the third high-profile incident. This is a very posh, very elite part of town. This is Bandra, right in the heart of Bandra. You had the Salman Khan incident, people firing outside his apartment, the Galaxy Apartments in Bandra a few months ago. You had the murder of Baba Siddiqui just before the elections. And now you have this, somebody stabbing Saif Ali Khan inside his house 6 times. Isn't that a point of concern from a law and order point of view?
Zaka, honestly speaking, I don't think it's a cause of concern at all. Salman Khan shooting and Baba Siddiqui's murder are a very well-planned activity by a gang which has claimed responsibility for those attacks. Whereas in this case, it is apparently a case of theft or case of burglary having gone wrong, where the person was almost cornered and then he tried to escape by stabbing the house owner. These kind of cases do keep happening. There are a number of thefts which keep taking place in the town, especially in upscale high-rise buildings. See, if it is a case of a robbery where 4 or 5 people come into the building, they try to rob a house owner, yes, it's a major source of concern. But thefts and burglaries and house breakings keep happening. There are thousands of them which take place in the city and many more thousand in the entire state. Now, if one of them goes wrong or goes awry, I don't think that would call for a cause of concern. Only thing is that the police must issue an advisory once again, because people tend to get lax. Police must issue an advisory again. One is getting the servants verified. Number 2, keeping security guards who have been verified by the agency concerned. Because that is an area where I generally find that people take things very, very lightly. They go for cost cutting, they go for untrained staff, they go for substandard agencies and substandard security guards. And the security guards are not allowed to do their job. They are made to run different errands for the society, office bearers, etc.
All right, Mr. Jain, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Mr. P.K. Jain, former Additional Director General of Police of Maharashtra, giving us his thoughts. He also seems to buy what the cops are telling us on record, and that is, it is a lone wolf attack, single attacker. The motive was theft.